Welcome to the 𝘚𝘢𝘴 podcast, where we explore faith and family and education through meaningful conversations that connect our school community. I'm your host, Paul Garcia, and today we're diving into a topic that's deeply important for every parent, teacher, and student: safety and security. At Saint Barnabas Episcopal School, we're not just nurturing minds and spirits, we're also committed to protecting the hearts and lives of those who walk our halls every day. From morning drop-off to afternoon pickup, from classrooms to playgrounds, safety is an expression of love and care. Joining me today is someone who knows this topic inside and out: Andrew Jenkins, District Emergency Management Specialist, proud parent of a Saint Barnabas student, an active member of our Saint Barnabas Episcopal Church family, and a military veteran. Andrew, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Paul. It's an honor to be here and talk about something that truly matters, which is safety and security for our children in our community.
You know, what are you seeing with your work at the district level in terms of overseeing emergency management?
So a slightly bigger picture at the national level, from the national preparedness goal, we have 4 areas we focus on: mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery.
Great.
And historically, we've been hyper-focused on response, and we're seeing a paradigm shift where now we're focusing on preparedness and mitigation.
You lead a team, and actually your territory is more than Volusia County, correct?
Yes, sir. 9 counties in Central Florida.
Okay. Wow, that's a big job. Yeah. So much of safety starts with preparation. How does that mindset translate here at a smaller private Christian school at St. Barnabas?
St. Barnabas is a smaller school, so everybody knows everybody and everyone knows each other. And so safety isn't just a topic; it's something it's a culture. It's lived.
And from your own personal experience, have you been experiencing a lot of sense of community at St. Barnabas?
Oh, absolutely. You see it every day at drop-off.
One dynamic that is unique to our school is the fact that we're on the same campus as our church. And so given that we're an Episcopal Parish Day school on the same campus, do you see some unique dynamics there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's as broad or obvious as the student uniforms, the conversations with my daughter after school of what she learned in chapel with Father Comforted and Mother Audrey. It's a piece. It's embedded in them.
That's really encouraging too. And in terms of now, let's dive into just safety and security measures. I know a lot of parents, that's a primary concern is how are we keeping our students and faculty and staff and volunteers during the school day and after school events, right? There's a lot of life going on our campus and people coming and going. In terms of just the safety measures, from your perspective, professionally and personally, any thoughts there?
Yes. So, a genuine question. My wife has those same concerns, and so security is like an onion. It has multiple layers, and no one layer is more or less important than another layer. And so St. Barnabas has a bunch of layers of security for the campus and the faculty and students on the campus. So it starts with controlled access. We have secured entry points, badged ID, and then all the doors remain locked. You have an integrated camera network that's well monitored. So the second part is emergency preparedness. So St. Barnabas has robust plans for all hazards, whether it's severe weather, a lockdown procedure, or fire. It's about having those plans and training and implementing those plans in a calm manner, in a deliberate manner. And then lastly, communication. St. Barnabas has a very good communication protocol in place that is regularly monitored to ensure it works correctly should the school need to reach out to parents.
I love hearing feedback from your perspective that really means a lot. We try to really stay in close contact with area professionals, people who really understand safety and security measures, especially for a school and a church. I think it's a real advantage, that we have where we're located as a school on our campus, to be so closely in proximity to emergency services and to so many resources such as yourself, the Florida Department of Transportation, emergency management, services, is really big component of our community. I've seen that in Volusia County, how much they take it serious. So I think it's a real plus, is what I want to just really highlight for our parents, is the location of our school and our campus is really ideally situated.
And to reassure parents, I'm privy to talking with a lot of regional partners in the area, and I was reassured by numerous people that St. Barnabas is well prepared.
What would you say are some of the chief things that you look for as a parent, especially somebody with your background? You come in as kind of a specialist, and you're able to see and look for things that most parents might not, that give you, as a parent, as a dad, some reassurance.
From a broad scope, I'm looking at vulnerabilities. Where are some areas that may need improvement or are weak? And fortunately, I don't see any of that. I don't see really any of that. There are some minor things and that can be improved going forward for thinking outside the box. Think 9/11. Nobody saw 9/11 coming. It's not something that we as a country could prepare for before that happened. So having a creative mindset and thinking 2 steps ahead.
We're so grateful for the people within our school community, such as yourself, and the local resources, and nationally too, that we've been able to benefit from. There is a real spirit of collaboration and willingness to help. There's not any barriers or territorial, attitudes when it comes to school safety and security. So it's been really just very surprising to me, going through this experience, especially the last 12 years as the head of school. And we've done a lot in 12 years that, when we look at other schools, and no, nothing is 100%, right? So that's really what I wanted, ask you is to maybe speak a little bit on that, there's no fail-safe 100%, absolutely, completely secure, even with all of the layers of the onion, correct?
Correct. And I mean, sadly, you can see that in recent events, where targeted violence against Christians or schools. But in emergency management, it's a continuous circle, and that circle never ends. So we're constantly preparing, mitigating, responding, and recovering. And fortunately, here locally, we're not responding to real events. We're responding to training, and we're in that training. We're identifying vulnerabilities that we can improve, or processes that we can improve, and then continue to reevaluate and continue that circle again. It's a process of continuous improvement.
I love that, and preparedness is obviously key, right? Just continual training and preparation. What just came to my mind as you were sharing that is, what are some of the agencies or resources that you're connecting with in your role, and in terms of preparedness, in terms of shared kind of cooperative and collaborative group?
Sure. So, working at the state government level, I work with federal partners, state partners, and local partners. At a federal level, I work with our local Federal Bureau of Investigation, or the FBI. I work with Department of Homeland Security, specifically CISA. At the state level, I have counterparts in Florida Division of Emergency Management, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Florida Highway Patrol. Kind of regionally, we have a local emergency planning committee. We have the St. John's Water Management District. And then at a local level, who we work with very closely is all the counties and municipalities in Central Florida.
That's quite a network.
It is a very big network.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, reassuring, and goes back to what I was sharing earlier in terms of just, how blessed we are to be able to be a part of that, in little small DeLand.
The positive of being in a part of the country where we experience a lot of hurricanes is that Florida is really good at responding to emergencies. And it doesn't really matter what the emergency is. It can be a hurricane or tornado or an active threat. It's having that communication and continuously training that allows Central Florida specifically to be a really good cohesive network where we're continuously or always working together.
Yeah.
And those communications are not seen or the level of jurisdiction is not seen as a boundary. It's just we have these open networks where we're always communicating with each other and working with each other.
Yeah, it's outstanding. It brings a lot of confidence and reassurance to me, in my role. And so I can imagine for those of you that, work in this on a regular basis, to be able to see that, collaboration and willingness to resource together. Yeah, I know that doesn't exist everywhere.
No. And you see that with the countrywide instructors in emergency management that come to Central Florida to provide some training. And as the instructors, we just had one on a evacuation and reentry where the instructor is like, okay, you guys can go ahead and teach the course to me. I can learn something from you. And that's reassuring. And we also just had an exercise where all the area stakeholders that just mentioned participated in a military installation exercise. So, I mean, that's also unique and an excellent opportunity to learn.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Let's talk more now about how we can best equip parents from a communication standpoint, maybe some resources. If you've got some thoughts and information there that you could share with our viewers, that would be really helpful.
So stay informed. Read the news bulletins that come from the school. Monitor current events and ask questions. Then you can communicate. So if you see something, say something. Trust your instincts with communication. Early intervention is key. And lastly, have a more preparedness mindset. Have a plan. If you have a plan, you're calm, and that sense of calmness translates or is mirrored in your child. And your child will be informed and calm as well.
Let's expand on that a little bit, if you don't mind, in terms of having a plan. Could you give some examples, maybe some of the things that you're doing within your own family?
Sure. Yes. So, I have a unique job where I'm required to work during many disasters. So our plan is probably a little out there compared to other more traditional families. But the Florida Department of Emergency Management has a really good disaster guide. And on there, it has a checklist that families can use. And it's just a template. You can tailor it to your family's needs. But in there is like know your evacuation routes or where you're going to go during a storm if something happens. Food, preparing food for your family or those that you care for. Medicine is another one that's often overlooked. So have extra medicine maybe during hurricane season, or have a plan on how you would get extra medicine outside hurricane season with other hazards. Pets is another really big one people overlook is what to do with your pets. We live in a rural county, so there's a lot of livestock. So also have a plan there. Where would you take your animals or turn them out at? And those conversations can be had now. We're blessed with the opportunity to think about this or think through it now. You have plenty of time. And so, you may maybe have friends on the other side of the state, or you find some resources where you can take your animals to. But
just keeping on that same topic in terms of preparedness, in terms of how to, from a parent's perspective, coach their children, and would you advocate that they maybe talk through some scenarios without going into great detail?
Yeah, there's Florida Department of Law Enforcement, or not Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Florida Division of Emergency Management also has cartoon books that kind of explain disasters and various natural weather events, tornadoes, hurricanes, fires. And those are good resources. And we have a weather radio in our home. And on Wednesdays is the warning day where they test the system. And so my daughter knows how to alert everyone in the home that the radio is going off, and we've taught her to listen to it. So what is it saying, and to relay that back to us, and what does that mean to you? What would you do if in this event? And you can kind of walk your children through that thought process in a calm manner.
That's a great example. I love that. And just to maybe take a step further with that is to maybe speak a little bit to the point of, every human being, and depending upon the situation, right, that they're faced with, whether it's weather related or some other type of event, may react and respond differently, right? And so, how would you say, as a parent and even in your professional capacity, some words of encouragement for parents on how to maybe take some time, with each of their children, uh, in a way that helps each child to feel more prepared and equipped?
So, yeah, being a member of the church, I have conversations with Father Comforted, and in that, we have started reading a children's Bible to our daughter, and that's kind of our time together.
Mhm.
We share together, and it's an excellent opportunity to, before you start reading the story of the day that day,
Mhm.
maybe talk about what is our fire plan? What happens if the smoke alarm goes off in our home?
Mhm.
Where are we going to meet? And we've had, you have to have thoughtful, hard conversations. So we have a younger son in the home. So my daughter's, if you can, get your brother, but it's more important for you to get out of the home and meet us over here.
Mhm.
Um, and and you can you can break that up through the week or maybe the month. It's important to think of all hazards.
Yeah.
It's very easy to think of hurricanes as something that happens nearly yearly for us, but fires, flooding, tornadoes, just what would we do if we saw a tornado or heard a tornado? What would we do if we heard police sirens nearby our home, or a bunch of flashing blue lights? What is our plan? What are we going
Mhm.
to do?
Yeah. Great examples. And I would like to even add on to what you were just saying in terms of, we're preparing and doing drills at school, right? And so do you think it's a benefit for parents to talk with their children about what their experience is like from school, as they're going through those drills and some of the events that, they may be experiencing?
Absolutely, and it would likely give the parents a peace of mind as
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
But just like homework with whether
Mhm.
it's English or math or any of those topics, continuing those conversations at home continues that learning process.
Great, great. Yeah, what just came to my mind often, as adults, and I remember my own children, when they get in the car after a school day and you're like, how was your day? It was good, and so there's not a lot of, expression of details. And so maybe that car time could be time to talk about some of these things that we've been discussing.
Sure, and I could use advice because my daughter's standard response is, "I can't remember."
Yes. So a little tip for everybody, when I'm out at the cones and helping with that dismissal process, whenever a child comes up to my cone, I'll ask them, instead of how was your day, I'll say, so what was one thing that you really liked today? And it's usually PE or recess, but then I'll bridge it from there, but at least it gets them talking. So I hope that's helpful.
Okay, I'll try that today.
Yeah. So you had mentioned earlier in terms of some conversations, that you have with your own daughter, and towards preparedness, and you had mentioned about maybe starting with prayer, and so that made me think to ask, given that we're a Christian faith-based school, how do you see faith and the topic of safety connecting in some ways?
So I really like the biblical verse from Proverbs 16:3. Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. So for me, everything is it's intertwined.
Hmm.
It's all one, and they complement each other.
Sometimes do you find in your public role that being a person of faith comes into play or is helpful?
Absolutely. It's my moral compass, and it provides me with the values and virtues on always continuously doing the right thing, and no matter who they are and what level of government or our community as a whole.
Well, Andrew, this time has been really rich, and thank you so much. I'd love to close us out with a fast five with faith set of questions, if you don't mind me just kind of throwing a couple of questions at you. And whatever comes to your mind first, if you just would share that, that'd be great.
Let's do
Sounds
it.
good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, number one thing you want parents to take away from this episode?
Be reassured. Saint Barnabas is constantly improving in the background. We're always looking at the future, always testing and evaluating and seeking ways to make ourselves a more hardened target.
So, what's your thought on putting on the full armor of God every day?
With Jesus in your life, it affords you the opportunity to defend against evil.
What's one safety tip every kid should know?
Communication. If you see something, say something. Trust your instincts.
Favorite Saint Barnabas tradition?
I really like chapel.
And last question, one word to describe the Saint Barnabas community.
Family.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been very, very helpful and worthwhile. And are there any other resources or tips or before we close out that you'd like to make available to parents?
Florida Division of Emergency Management. I believe it's disasterpreparedness.gov or maybe .org. Excellent resources there for checklists that can be tailored to any family.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us today, and I wish you and your family all the best.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Safety isn't just about plans and procedures. It's about caring for our community. And Andrew has beautifully reminded us of that today. To our viewers and listeners, thank you for tuning in to St. B's podcast, where we celebrate faith and family and education. Remember, God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and self-control. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with another St. Barnabas family, and join us next time as we continue exploring the values that make our school such a special place.